You are listening to the World Sports Show on WPPM-LP Philadelphia. Soccer-based sports talk covering local, nation, and global soccer. Broadcasting from the Philly Cam studio in Center City, Philadelphia on 106.5 FM.
And welcome to the World Sports Show. Charlie Flo here with John DeCriscio on a beautiful, cool, crisp February 27th. Nice evening. A lot of soccer to talk about, John. Very funky weekend with degrees in the 70s and degrees in the 30s. Don't know what it's doing outside right now, but it's warm and toasty here in the studio.
Yeah, it's interesting here in Philadelphia. We get 70 degrees one day. Next day, it's starting to snow. Then it's back to record high temperatures. But record high temperatures good for the game, good for soccer.
Yeah, I mean, you have Saturday, which was a good day to play some outdoor, and then Sunday, good day to be inside and dust off the old futsal shoes, which you put away on Saturday thinking you were in the summer.
Yeah, right about that.
That's the thing in this past few weeks. You don't know, like you said, if you're going to bust out the cleats, the long studs, the turf shoes, the indoor shoes. It's a very unpredictable situation. I played a little outdoor this past Saturday. I actually brought 3 different shoes with me because I didn't know what the surface would be like.
Yeah, right about that. Get the bag, throw them all in there. Got to bring the turfs. But, rains one day, then it's mushy the other day. Yeah, it's crazy.
And those of you that are not familiar with Philadelphia grass fields, it's kind of a mix of concrete, glass, rock. It's a very, if somebody could invent a boot to perfect the fields of Philadelphia, they'd be a millionaire.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure there's a lot of urban fields throughout the United States and even around the world that what boot do you wear? Because you always have those short studs that are like, firm surface, and you get the spikes for the perfect grass, which I've only played on about 5 times in my life.
Well, you don't see them no more, but back in the day as a kid, like the hot pro model was like, oh man, they're like replaceable. You get the little short stubby screw-ons, but I guess they're
you still see that in the NFL football. Dudes change their cleats at halftime in the size of the spikes, so definitely something that you don't see as much now. So, but yeah, a lot to talk about in the soccer news, John.
Yep.
It's a very exciting show.
Let's go over it. So, thank you again, everybody. Going back to last week and a week and a week and a back again. Mailbag at World Sports Show. That's email for our box. Send emails in. We'll read them. Good feedback. We'll get to that towards the end of the show. But, around the world, we're in prime time soccer season. So,
yeah, a lot of good guests on. We'll have our in-studio guest on after the 9:30 break. Excited to have them on. We got some good interviews coming up. But let's go into the lead-off top news. And U.S. women's soccer news, the She Believes Cup will kick off this week in Chester with England versus France at 4 p.m., Germany versus USA at 7 p.m. That'll be on FS1 at 7 o'clock this Wednesday. And on Saturday in Harrison, New Jersey, France versus Germany at 2:15 p.m., England versus USA, 5 p.m. on regular Fox. And other news in U.S. soccer, the under 23s will travel to Spain. They already actually are in Spain. They traveled over last week. Seattle Reign head coach Laura Harvey will be coaching this 22-player roster that features 17 professionals. 16 are from the NWSL. 1 is currently playing in Iceland. 4 collegiate players and 1 high school senior. Our good friend of the show, Lloyd Yaxley, will be the keeper coach for this squad.
There you go, Lloyd.
So we'll keep you guys updated on this little tournament. They play 3 games. It's just a 3-game guarantee tournament. Major League Soccer will begin its 2017 this season this coming Friday. There'll be games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It will feature 22 teams this season. We have the addition of Atlanta and Minnesota joining the MLS.
We'll get there.
In the English Premier League, Chelsea beat Swansea City by a score of 3-1. They lead the EPL table by 10 points over Tottenham, which were 4-0 winners over Stoke City. Good to see Jeff Cameron get a cup of coffee with Stoke on Sunday. Claudio Ranieri was fired this past week a day after Leicester City was dropped 2-1 in their Champions League road game, and also 9 months after winning the EPL title for Leicester City. In La Liga news, Real Madrid and Barcelona each picked up wins respectively. Real Madrid holds a 1-point lead in La Liga, and they also have one game in hand.
Interesting. A lot of La Liga fans write in.
Oh, man, love it.
And they love their teams.
Yeah, so definitely a debate we'll have to get into another show. La Liga versus EPL. That's a good pub debate, depending on what pub you're at and what language you're speaking. In Champions League round of 16, Man City beat Monaco by a score of 5-3. Sevilla 2-1 over Leicester City. Atletico Madrid 4-2 over Bayern. Juve 2-0 over Porto. Gigi Buffon with a shutout for Juve.
Good point. Good footnote there.
Yeah, so good to see Gigi Buffon still playing. I think that guy could play till he's 50, 55 if he wants.
I hope he does.
So, also another big local news is Bear Fight FC of Wilmington will be kicking off their first ever game this Sunday in the beautiful city of Wilmington. And I believe that you have one of the players on our phone line right now, Alex. Is it Medina?
Medina. So let's see, Alex, we got you on.
Hi, how are you, John?
Good, thank you.
How are you doing today?
Good, Alex. This is Charlie World Sports Show. I want to thank you for coming in our show.
Oh, thank you for having us. I mean, it's my pleasure. You know, I speak for the whole team, and for Jeremy, our Kieran, our head coach. You know, it's an honor. Thank you for having us.
I mean, this is a very unique situation with a club that was founded by a supporter section of the Philadelphia Union. That this is really what football in America and around the world's about, is just starting from the bottom, grassroots.
Right. You know, it's actually a great thing, and I'm thankful for that Jeremy gave me the chance. We're bringing new talent, new players. Now a lot of people are hearing about this club down here in Wilmington, and everyone's excited about it. Everyone's excited for our first game on Sunday, just coming up Sunday, March 5th.
Yeah, it's definitely a really cool thing. Grassroots, the players and fans are probably going to have a lot of access to each other. You guys have got a lot of stuff planned on with like a pregame party, postgame party. And I think that's really what separates a lot of sports in America, why soccer is such a fan-friendly, is because even at union games or anything, is their supporter sections. You get to interact with the players, and then you become friends with the players. Right.
And Jeremy just wants to make a family. Like, he wants everyone to be around it. If you have kids, girlfriend, wife, husband, they just want everyone to be involved in the whole community, and which is a good thing. And we enjoy playing a game and make a name for the team and make a name for ourselves as players.
What's the preseason been like for you guys? I know you guys have had a few practices on your belts. What's the team structure looking like?
Well, we actually look really good. Like I said, we're bringing new players, new talent. So we're just hoping to see, what's going to be like on Sunday. Some of us, it will be our first time for some of the guys, playing with us, and hopefully we can get a good look at how things are going to be from then. And it will be our first game since our last pass, season from the fall. So, I'm expecting a lot from these new players.
So how did you get involved with this team? How did you and Jeremy hook up? How did you become on Bear Fight FC?
Well, actually, I believe he started practicing one of our indoor soccer fields down here in Wilmington. It's called Mi Canchita, and he talked to the owner. He needed to get new players, and just bring new talent to the team. He gave me the card. I called Jeremy. I started talking to him, and I went out to tryouts, and he liked the way I played. And from then, it's been 3 years now. Then I've been with the team, and I've seen a lot of things change, and everything's for the great of the team.
That's an awesome story, and according to John that hooked up with you, that you'll be wearing the captain's armband. That's a pretty big honor.
Right, it's a great honor, and like I said, I'm thankful for Kieran, that our head coach, that he's given me the chance to, be in charge and bring the best out of me. Hopefully on Sunday, our weather looks fine, so hopefully we can still have a great game on Sunday.
Now, what's some of your background before playing for FC? What's some of the teams and areas you've played in before?
I played for college a couple years, and just around on Hispanic leagues. And like as I mentioned, Canchita is one of our indoor soccer fields around here in town, and it brings a lot of players down from PA, New Jersey, and great talents come down here and play, and that's where we are getting most of our players from.
All right, so let's tell all the gusts out there. Sunday, what time does it kick off?
It will kick off at 2 p.m. It's going to be at Eden Park on Wilmington. The address is 1098 Newcastle Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, and we're going to be there, I believe, from 1 p.m. on, and kickoff is going to be at 2 p.m. So there are going to be tacos. There's actually going to be art, and just bring your family out. It's going to be really fun. Like I said, Jeremy wants to bring everyone to players, and it's just a great opportunity for players to look out and see what it's like to be at the next level of soccer.
Well, you heard it out there, fans. Bear FC this Sunday, Wilmington, Eden Park, 2 p.m. Alex will be there wearing the captain's armband. John and I are planning to go down there. John wants to get another word in with you too, Alex.
Alex, is there a website or anything that people out there can reach you guys at?
Yes, we actually have our own webpage. It's at bearfight.com. You can find, you can buy products like scarves, jerseys, shirts, tequila cups, all kinds of products that we have where, that way that's where we get our money from. And also, you can become a member and support the team.
All right, well, Alex, thank you so much again. Alex with the captain of Bear Fight FC this Sunday, Wilmington, 2 p.m. We'll be there. Tacos and football. Can't beat it, Alex. Good luck in the game.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Alex.
All right, goodbye.
Again, everybody check out bearfightfc.com. Some great guys down there. Kieran's a good friend of the show, good friend of you and I, John. Jeremy Sharp, one of the stand-up guys. It's one of the guys that's been there from the core start of getting professional football or soccer, whatever you want to call it, in the city of Philadelphia. But I think the neat part is that Philly is such a region, and it has such an outreach. It goes to Jersey, it goes to Delaware, it goes to there's even some fans that come in from North Jersey, and I think that's the neat part. It's not just within the city limits of Philadelphia, it's within other city limits and other fan bases, and I think that's the neat part about when the MLS came to Philadelphia. It gave us this hope to start building up that minor league system. I think that we really actually need in America to have a successful soccer system. You need the whole multi-tier system.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is one of the things where you have these type of clubs that start building from the ground that, hey, maybe in a few years this team moves up and you see them in the Open Cup. And that's the neat part of seeing these smaller clubs work their way up and create an upset here and there in the Open Cup.
He took me with football and food, but the whole culture, the environment, just to go back to. But one thing,
family, dude,
and that I, checking them guys out as they do a lot of charity work in the area in Pennsylvania and Delaware. These guys will put charity first, put culture, and then they use soccer as their vehicle to do it. So awesome job.
Yeah, so thanks again for Alex calling in from Bear Fight FC. Check them out at bearfightfc.com. Big thanks to Kieran and Jeremy Sharp. Look forward to getting down there. Look forward to supporting that club. So, other news, we want to talk about one of the other local things that will be going on starting this week. The She Believes Cup will be kicking off in Chester, Pennsylvania, 4 o'clock on Wednesday with England taking on France, followed up by a nice little buffet of USA and Germany. You're talking 4 of the best women's soccer programs in the world are right at our fingertips in 2 days.
It's crazy. Right here.
In Philadelphia.
Yep.
And it was a neat little stroll seeing the England teams. I was able to stop by Team England Hotel and to call up the players today and do some interviews, and we're going to have them on the show in a little bit.
That's right.
So we're going to have some of those interviews. We're going to talk about a couple of leading into the interviews. We talked to Rachel Daly. She was drafted by the Houston Dash last year. And then Jodie Taylor, who spent some time in NWSL with Portland and Washington, is now back playing for Arsenal.
That's right. And, what I would say is USA better think about marking both players.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Might be a priority.
We've seen
priority.
Yeah, we've seen what Rachel Daly can do in the NWSL.
Yep,
We've seen what
that's right.
Jodie Taylor can do on the international level. I mean, she scored one of the biggest goals for England when they beat Canada in the quarterfinals of the Women's World Cup in 2015. So I think this is an England team that would not surprise me of winning this whole tournament.
No, not at all. So you want to go interview real quick?
Yeah, let's do it. Which one do we got up first?
Let's go. Today you spoke with Jodie Taylor, and we have that on. Here we go.
This is Charlotte Flair World Sports Show. I'm here with England's national team player, Jodie Taylor. Welcome to Philadelphia and welcome back to the U.S. I want to thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice to be back.
So what are some things you've actually missed about America? You're back playing in England now for Arsenal. What are some things you missed just about the United States?
I think it's what I haven't missed. I miss the country, the lifestyle, the people, how friendly people are. It's really nice to be back stateside.
So you put a pretty big goal on the map for your country back in 2015, that goal against Canada. I mean, that was one of the biggest goals for women's football in England. What is that goal and that run you guys made done for women's football over in your country?
Yeah, it's been huge. I wasn't back in the UK post World Cup to actually see exactly, the scale of how positive it's had of an impact on women's football in the UK. But it was big. We made history. We've never made it that far before, and I think it gained a lot more respect in terms of women playing football. And we've seen that with more girls starting to play and it becoming more popular.
It's been great, the media coverage and you guys being recognized out in public. I mean, what was it like as a child growing up playing football? I'm sure there was struggles just to get on a pitch.
Yeah, it was. It's changed a lot since when I was growing up. When I was a little girl, it wasn't until I was about 12 that I joined a girls' team. I didn't know any other girls that played when I was at school. I played with the lads quite a lot, and there's still a bit of a stigma attached to, girls don't play football. It's a boys' sport, and I think we're slowly starting to see that change, which is great to see.
We've really seen that gap get bridged over a few years. I mean, you're looking about 10 years ago, there's only probably about 3 or 4 teams that would really win the Women's World Cup. Now it's a mix where you have half a dozen teams, like all 4 of these teams in the She Believes Cup could legitimately win a World Cup.
Yeah, of course, it's exciting, and it's exciting to be a part of. I think the World Cup's shown that as well, and other nations are catching up. I think US used to dominate a lot back in the day, and I think now there's a bunch of teams that are just as competitive and looking to win and become the number 1 team in the world.
And you look at just fixtures, you guys got Germany, France, USA. It's not an easy game in this tournament whatsoever. What does that mean to you as a footballer when you saw that schedule come out?
It's so exciting. I think these are the tournaments and games you want to be playing year round. That's what you get out of bed in the morning for, and that's what you do all the training for, is to play against the top nations and to test yourself and test ourselves as a team. So, when we got invited to this tournament again, everyone was super pumped and excited for it.
Well, I want to thank you so much for your time, Jodie. It's always good to see you, and best of luck in this tournament with your country.
Thank you very much.
And that was my interview with Jodie Taylor of England, striker. So definitely keep your eye on her in this tournament. She's been known to get some goals out of the blue and a very, very threatening forward. I mean, she had a lot of success in NWSL and had quite a career looking over her domestic. Played in Australia, she's played in Canada, played in USA, back playing in England for a team called Arsenal, if you've heard of them.
Maybe a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a team I want to definitely try to catch a few games this year of, because you got Heyo from the United States over there now playing with Jodie Taylor, and sometimes when you see combo players, just seeing them work together. So definitely excited. We do have another interview. I spoke to also Rachel Daly that plays for Team England, and she also plays for the Houston Dash. I'll be able to speak with her for a few minutes. This is Charlotte Flair World Sports Show. I'm here with Rachel Daly. Quite a trip you've made here to Philadelphia. How excited are you to get this camp started with the She Believes Cup?
It's huge for us. I think, every time we come to the USA and play these teams, it's obviously such good tournament preparation, especially for the Euros, quick turnarounds from the games, and 3 arguably the best teams in the world. 4 obviously with us in the world right now, so I think it's huge for us. Really excited to get underway.
A tournament like this really helps you guys in your Euro qualifications when you're going up against 3 of the better teams in the world. What does that mean for you as a program to go up against a team that you actually have to play really good football every single game?
Yeah, I mean, you can't let up anything against these types of teams, and that's why it's going to be the biggest test for us. Going into the Euros, playing with such good talent in the European phases and stuff. I think it's been huge for us to get these games underway and get see where we are and where we face up against the likes of Germany, France, and the US. And think that we've come on such a long way that I think it's going to be a good competition.
Since the last time I saw you, there's been some big things happen to you in your England career. What does the date June 4th, 2016 mean to you?
Obviously, it was awesome for me. Getting my debut goal was obviously a big thing for me. Just so happy to get that call up, and Mark believed in me to put me in that starting lineup. And obviously, it's a huge game for me, but every game there on after that is just as big, if not bigger. Just excited to be in part of this campaign, and obviously the wins that we've got over the past year has been awesome. So big game, but more bigger ones to come.
Definitely an incredible goal. Not many people have a goal in their first ever game for England, and not only that, just the goal itself was a kind of interesting setup. It was kind of a miss on the first volley, and then you got it on the rebound.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ellen was very unselfish to give me that ball. You say kind of screwed up the first one, but you live and learn, and Ellen picked me out. I think it was, again, a very unselfish pass from her, which was, I always thank her for to this day. So, just right place, right time, and, always good to get the finish on the debut.
What does it mean to you as a person and a player, just all that you've gone through just to put on that England kit and walk onto that field, and especially back in your home country?
It's the best feeling in the world, honestly. It's indescribable. It's like euphoria. Putting on that shirt, it's not just a shirt. It's not just the badge. You just wear it. It's a shirt that represents how much pride you have for your country, and to be a part of that squad, any squad with your national team, is, again, the best feeling in the world, just to represent them. And obviously to get wins and get goals is always huge.
You're sitting here wearing your England top right now, and you're getting to go up against some USA players, France players, Germany players. What's the experience going to be like going up against players that you go up against in training every day in Houston, or you play in the league? What do you think that experience is going to be like, just seeing them?
I think it's going to be an advantage for me. Obviously, I know quite a lot of them and how they play in the league, and playing against them week in, week out, training with them, like you say. But, to see them, again, arguably four of the best teams in the world right now, it's going to be good. And I think the matchups are going to be good. And I think that it's the competition that we need. But, again, it's exciting. And coming up against the US is a team that I've never personally faced before as a team, as a country. But, I think I know that a lot of them and how they play, which is definitely an advantage.
Because the coaching staff's giving you some extra work, since you have a little scouting report on them?
Not yet, maybe towards the next game, but yeah, I'll be there to give my advice.
I want to thank you for your time, and it's always a pleasure speaking with you again. This is Charlotte World Sports Show, Rachel Daly. Thank you so much, and best of luck to your country in this tournament.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And welcome back to World Sports Show. Charlie Flo here. You're listening to World Sports Show on WPPM, LP Philadelphia. We'll take a few more minutes to talk about the She Believes Cup. It's coming up. It's like into its, I believe, third or second year. I feel like an idiot not knowing that, but definitely good that it's on the East Coast right here in our backyard. We've got 2 games in Chester, Pennsylvania on Tuesday, 2 games in North Jersey at the Energy Stadium. I don't know. I'm not going to endorse their product.
Funny.
Energy Drink Stadium.
You're allowed to.
Yeah.
We're on it.
Energy Drink Stadium up in North Jersey on Saturday with another doubleheader, and then they wrap up in D.C. at RFK with another doubleheader. So I think the biggest winner in this whole tournament is the fans, man. I mean, you get to go to a game and only an hour break between. So you basically are there for 5 hours, but you're going to see 4 hours of soccer.
I mean, you talk about selecting a Final Four for women's soccer, global soccer.
Yeah, this literally, for the next World Cup, this could be the Final Four teams. This could be your semifinals right here.
And quite possible. It's tough with the matchups, but hey, either way, 1, 2, 3, 4, one of them will be, if not in the final.
Yeah, the only other team that could go into the debate of not being in this tournament or being one of the top 4 teams in the world is Brazil and maybe Sweden. Besides that, these are 4 of the best teams in the world women's soccer.
See, the problem with that is you don't have to wake up to the mailbag buzzing.
Yeah.
See, now you like doing that. It's funny. You open up a can of worms.
I tease it, it's mailbag at worldsportshow.com.
So Japan,
email Johnny
no
anytime.
Japan, I mean.
Okay, Japan technically was in the last 2 finals. They won.
There you go.
So it is so funny how you think top 4, and then you can sneak in another 4 with maybe Norway, Sweden, Japan, Brazil. So, I mean, what I think the neat part is about the tournament, there's no playoff. It's basically you got to win, and you got to win big if you want to win this tournament.
That's right.
So come next Tuesday when all's on the line, you can never know what you could see. You could see some team pushing it for 5 goals in a night just to try to get that goal differential to win a tournament.
That's right.
And a lot of it is, I see this as the most meaningful tournament. It's a friendly tournament because this is an off year for teams like USA. There's nothing for us to qualify right now, but even for teams like England, they're trying to get into the Euros, so this is like a real test for them to gauge where are we going into the Euros.
I mean, you just said a word that kind of we had a debate on, going back a little bit, is the word friendly. To a soccer player, person who's been in a friendly, is your term for a game that is not a league game. It's basically, I want to say, a glorified scrimmage or a meaningful, which, you're going to play. Some players are not going to put it, it's not going to be your fifth reserve team. But to a non-soccer player, like a friendly, is it like, you going to shake hands after every play? Like, it's just the mindset of the word friendly. But for a friendly, for the soccer fanatic, which a lot of the sports fans and, a lot of people listening aren't soccer fans, but they listen to the show.
I mean, think about these matchups. You've got England playing their first game against France. France is going to be hosting the next World Cup. So England wants to come out and show the next host of World Cup we're here to play. And you've got Germany, USA in the second match on Wednesday. Now, Germany obviously is not feeling too happy that they miss a PK in their semifinal, and suddenly they're going into the third place match.
I mean,
they make that PK.
I don't want to dig back onto it, but up until that game, they were rolling.
Well, Germany was rolling. Germany looked like poised. They were going to be the favorites to win the whole World Cup. It shows you how one missed PK, and then the other end, Carl Lloyd converts the PK. That's a 2-goal swing right there.
That's it.
And it's just such a momentum breaker right there that they put in that PK, then maybe USA's wearing a third-place medal around their necks.
So which is good, is it's great for the soccer purists because we can analyze and we can pick a lot of these things up and talk about it. But also the casual fan, young kids who don't understand quite technically, they don't the tactical aspect, they can go and watch a game, they can see their favorite players. And it's, to be honest, these stadiums, there's not a bad seat in the house.
No, and I think the neat part we're saying about the tactical parts is all 4 teams can play women's football at the highest level. So there's none of this fall off where you might see a tournament where you have a team that kind of gets in. You're like, all right, this is a team that everybody's going to beat up on. This is a 7-0 team. This is a 3-0 team.
Not at all.
That we're not going to see. We're going to see mostly 2-goal, 1-goal games, I believe. I don't think there may be one game, it may be a 3-goal differential, but I don't think any games out of this tournament will be decided by more than 1 or 2 goals. So we're going to wrap that up. We're going to look a little bit out of some of the players on the U23 women's side that traveled over to Spain, and just pick out some of the key players that really stuck out in our mind. One player that really stuck out for me on this women's U23 roster is Kristen McNabb of Seattle Reign. She's local product out of New Jersey. Really good player. You also have Erica Strosky, a local player out of New Brunswick, that plays for Sky Blue. Those are a couple defenders that really stuck out. Is these are some players that will probably be some of the household names in the next 3 or 4 years for the U.S. women's national team.
Exactly, that's the point. I was just we put the U.S. under 23. We bring a lot of news, especially to our our social media, our website, is because these are the players that will be wearing the national jerseys in a few years, and now you can see what to expect. You got these stars. They're going to bring something to the table. They're there for a reason. They got great coaching staff. Basically, it's it's time to shine. So they're going to give it all. You're going to see unbelievable effort, and
this is the future. And you look at the midfielder player that really sticks out to me is Christina Gibbons out of Duke, who is now going to be playing her professional ball for FC Kansas City. She's out of Raleigh, North Carolina. She's really a player that's, I think, in the midfield is going to have a really great tournament and could be the next big thing for the midfield. Looking at a couple of the forwards, we got Ship out of Washington Spirit. I think that's one of the forwards we're really to look out for. And, we have a mix of a high school in there and some other players that really definitely keep an eye on them. I'll be following up with Lloyd Yaxley and getting his little, even though he works with the goalkeepers, but he has himself full with 3 goalkeepers in 3 games. So hopefully they'll do a little, maybe split a couple games, and then the third game. Actually, he's got 2 goalkeepers. I apologize. So from what I talked to him, they're going to split the first 2 games, and then we'll see going to the third game who's going to earn that third spot. So when you have a tournament of 3 games, 2 goalkeepers, those goalkeepers are going to play out of their minds to get that third and final game.
I'm sure even up until warm-up. That's
what I would do if I was a coach. I wouldn't tell them till 5 minutes before kickoff. Just warm them up.
That's why Lloyd is the man.
Well, I know the media, a lot of people in the media, it's funny because you and I work in media. There's some media guys that are just corny as heck. They'll be in the press box saying, "Oh, that's a violation of rules." They're supposed, because there's a lot of rules that say you have to turn in your 18 or your 11 roster a certain amount of minutes before kickoff. And there's some coaches that, dude, they want to hide that roster as much as they want. And I get it from the immediate standpoint. You got another roster, but I'm a coach. Why do I need to tell you who my starting keeper is?
Because half the time the story is halfway scripted on their laptops.
Exactly. They got a cut and paste going.
It's all right. They figured halfway, halftime is, your one keeper's coming out. Your number two is going to come in, maybe warm up. But, that's just trying to get out the parking lot a little bit early. That's all it is.
Exactly. But we're going to take ourselves a little break and play last week's interviews and last week's shows. And after the break, we have our in-studio guests coming in. So stay where you are. Again, this is Charlie Flo, John the Chris. You're listening to World Sports Show on WPPM LP Philadelphia.
This is Denisha Adams, and you're listening to World Sports Show on WPPM 106.5 Philadelphia.
Last week on World Sports Show.
In-studio guest Nicolette Dreesen of the Orlando Pride. From Philadelphia.
Favorite drill and least favorite drill?
That's what Lou wants to know.
Least favorite drill was we had to run up to our local in cleats, which I never said why our coach made us. We had to run 2 miles to our local stadiums. We actually played our high school games in a football stadium, proper, holds 10,000 people.
Lou said, "What's your favorite?" He said, not his story. He said, "What's your favorite?"
Okay.
Let's go.
What's your favorite story? Is running up the stairs, running down the stairs, running up the stairs of an entire stadium, up and down the prees. That was my least favorite. Trivia we learned from your dad, because we were looking up the stat that you won a championship at Florida State and won a championship at Penn State. So it's definitely a one-of-a-kind trivia to win 2 national titles with 2 different teams.
That's pretty good. That's amazing.
I'm very fortunate, very lucky, very blessed.
And there's people that don't even get to one championship game like John and I. We couldn't even get on the field. And then you've got 2 titles, and it's.
And now, back to the WPPM studios in Philadelphia. This is the World Sports Show.
And welcome back to World Sports Show. Charlie Flo here in the studios of Philly Cam, WPPM L Philadelphia. I don't even know what city I'm in.
That's right. You've only been here for 20 years.
So we have Philadelphia University assistant coach Carlos Pinnace. I said it right. I've known the guy for a couple years now, getting his name right. Just Coach Carlos to me. Or Coach Los. Which one do you prefer, Coach Los?
Yep.
And we got Dom Landry here from AC Fairhill. And Tariq here from AC Fairhill. So we have quite a mix of people that are youth coaches and are college coaches, basically all of us here right now. Even John, you coach youth soccer, and I think that's a big topic right now. We're going to talk about a lot of the youth development and intercity development of athletic programs. So are you guys based in North Philly, Fairhill?
Yes, we are.
Now, when did you guys start this whole program up?
We started the program August 2015 officially. We had a camp prior to that in July or late June, actually, 2015 that kind of kicked it off. But our first practice was August 2015.
So fairly young club in infant stages.
Yeah, super young.
So most of your players you draw in from your program come from North Philly, am I correct?
All over the city, pretty much all over the city.
Yeah, I would probably say 3/4 of them come from the surrounding neighborhood. And then we have the other 25% that come from Southwest or Germantown. So
you try to bring them in. So you bring them in from all walks of the city, really?
Yeah, it's weird because we'll get a call like, "Hey, I'm coming in from the airport," and I'm like, "All right, we got practice at 6. I hope you can make it home in time."
You flying in players, then? This guy's already importing players second year.
So the parents like, "I get up at 5. I'm coming from Southwest." I'm like, "Well, we start at 6, so hopefully you guys can make it." So it's been exciting and interesting the first year and a half. 2 years.
What's some of the physical setup? Where do you guys actually play a lot of your games and practice at?
So all of our practices are on 12th and Cambria in North Central Philadelphia, the Fairhill section of the city. In the fall and spring, we play UJSL, which lets us kind of venture out a little bit to Northeast and Huntington Valley and Bucks County. So over the river and through the woods type of thing. And we also play in Germantown in the winter, at the Gleck Center.
Okay.
Germantown indoors. So we play futsal at that point. So in the wintertime.
That's good. That's good. I mean, it's great that I think the neat way that all of us here sitting here, you know, with Carlos here at Philadelphia University and myself, that, you know, we connected with AC Fairhill through social media.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the thing that really, 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 you know, helps grow it, that it's a positive. You know, we look at a lot of these teenagers and millennials that are on their phones all the time, but use it to the advantage of how I found your club and Carlos found your club just through the internet, and just share a little bit, Carlos, of how you got connected here with this club and got them out to Philadelphia University for a session and just a meet and greet, and we had them as ball boys a few months ago.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it was just looking at social media, just going through the city of Philadelphia since I had started coaching. You know, I just wanted to, you know, get more familiar with the different clubs in the area, and just randomly I came across one of their social media pages. I'm not sure if it was actually the club or if it was his personal page or whatnot, but once I came across him, I figured it made a lot of sense for me to reach out to him. I'm not even sure who reached out first, but yeah, just seeing what he was doing as a program, and, you know, working with the inner city, it kind of touched home for me because when I was growing up, a lot of kids in my community didn't really play. So what I saw, you know, in that program was something that I would have loved to do when I was a kid. So that, you know, pretty much prompted me to have an interest and for us to start a dialogue and to, you know, set up the situation where we had them come out to Philly U. So. And actually, prior to me them coming out, I actually went out to one of their sessions outdoors.
Okay.
And actually, I did a little bit of training with them for probably about 30 minutes at the beginning of one of their practices. Got to meet the kids and stuff like that. And yeah, from then I was, you know, pretty much hooked. I thought it was a great idea, a great program. Thought it was something that would be great for Philadelphia University to actually see if we can have them come in and work with us in any fashion, you know.
Yeah, that was an amazing experience. You know, we had the team, the AC Fairhill team, come out to one of our fall games, and we did a little clinic with our players. And, you know, not a lot of programs in the Philadelphia areas are doing that. You know, they'll invite the fans to come and kind of sit in the stands and walk around, but actually having our college players and our college coaches do a session with these young boys and girls. We had some girls out too, and, you know, do a little clinic, and then they got some lunch, and then they got to be ball boys. And hey, man, these kids are welcoming time. They're a good luck charm. I mean, we were on a little bit of a losing streak before they came, and they helped snap our losing streak. We got to win, and they just got to participate. And I'm sure some of those kids are going to remember that the rest of their life.
Right. Oh, yeah, we got kids saying they want to go to Philly U now. So
right. There you go.
I'm like, hey, put your bid in now while you got the connect.
Yeah, we always joke, what's the youngest you can sign a player? You know, National Signing Day. You guys sign a 12-year-old?
On the girls' side, you might get away with that.
Right. Yeah, it's all the different rules, and I know, John, you deal with a lot of these similar issues in North Philly because you coach a girls' high school team in North Philly, and there's a lot of challenges to coaching in an urban setting when there's just not a lot of access to fields and facilities, and the game's just not as popular.
That's right. Just finding, you know, a proper field is tough in the city. I mean, you know, just finding a grass patch really great. It's a challenge, and especially with, I want to say, indoor facilities. Usually it's, you know, there's so many sports jockeying for that facility, and it's rare. You get it, you know, you might be able to find a church gym but, you know, the rec centers are packed, especially, you know, basketball rules in, you know, pretty much indoor Philadelphia. So it's a lot to share. You know, gym time is tough to come by.
Oh, my God.
You know.
Well, you guys had mentioned the whole futsal things. I mean, we just had a futsal clinic over at Philly U yesterday, and I mean, that's a game that really helps these kids because it can be played anywhere. And he said that finding a basketball gym in Philly, dude, you can find a basketball gym every 3 blocks.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, futsal for us is really important because, well, the whole year-round training is super important because our kids don't come from soccer backgrounds. They come from basketball or football or not doing anything at all. And we coach from 6 to 11 years of age. So I might get an 8 or 7-year-old that never touched any ball in any sport, period.
Wow.
So soccer is one of those sports, as you guys know, is a highly skilled sport. But a lot of it has to do with intelligence and savvy on the field, just knowing position. So we have to train them year round. And futsal allows that training to kind of expedite itself because it's a quicker game. and they get to work on technique a lot. It's very controlled in that sense when we practice. So we found a little gym at Clymer Elementary School that's a block away from where we train outside on 12th and Rush Street. And it's about as big as this room that we're sitting in.
Awesome. Well, I've seen the video. I was wondering where you guys were.
And there's no goals. Like we have these like pop-up pug goals that are broken at this point. So now we use cones. And we just get it in. We got to dribble around tables, dribble around.
Dude, it works, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we've joked about like some of the fields in Philadelphia are atrocious. Some of the actual grass fields are really like dirt, grass, and broken this and that on the fields. But I think what's neat about an urban soccer player, like you look like these kids from like inner cities of Brazil, if you can master playing on a crappy pitch, a half-deflated ball, not exactly the best boots, you can be one of the best players because you have so many of these players from the rich suburbs that are used to having the perfect pitch,
pristine,
perfect boots, and then they come to these city fields. Oh, this field's too narrow. Oh, I've never played on dirty turf like that before.
Oh, man.
And I think that it builds that character of why we have the best athletes in the NBA and NFL, so why should we not have the best athletes in soccer?
Absolutely. And that's the whole point of building AC Fairhill. Like Tariq, he asked me, what should we do? And I said, let's try and do youth soccer. I played soccer, and it really expanded my horizons. And, I just owe a lot of credit to Tariq to backing it.
Well, it expanded my horizons as well because I really didn't know nothing about soccer until Dom, and I started watching it.
Okay.
And, watched the U.S. girls win their game, and it was like, oh, this thing is serious.
Yeah, you're watching the right team. I'll tell you, our men right now, their ratings are a little bit down, but if you want to watch some good football, watch our women's national team right now.
Absolutely. And Tariq has an interesting story, too. He was a basketball player that had a college scholarship.
Okay.
Prior
to being in a car accident in 2006, so I got injured when I was 17. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a long road.
A little bit of a journey. So what was your position in basketball? I would look at you as maybe power forward.
No, I was a small forward actually.
Okay.
So good, pretty good.
So you had a decent shot then, right?
Yeah, shot, inside game. I like the inside game the most over the post up.
So you have to bang it around down there.
Yeah.
That's good. So where were you intending to play some basketball at?
Well, I had a full scholarship to what was the name? The school. I'm trying to remember. Cookstown University.
That's a good school. That's a good school. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, it must be an inspiration to see these kids, just being able to play a game that you don't know much about, but it's just it inspires them. I'm all about that. That there's been kids that I've had that have gone to different programs. I might have played, coach soccer with them, and they say, "Well, coach, I want to go play baseball." I'm like, "Dude, go do what you want to do."
Right.
As long as they're active, I think that we have this next generation. The kids aren't active enough.
Not at all.
I think that everybody's table, dude. I never wanted to come home. I'm sure the same way John, I'd skip lunch. I'm like, screw it, I don't need lunch.
I have a story about that. This weekend we had a game over at on the club side. We had a game at Shipley, and one of the balls went over the gate to the tennis court. And one of the parents was standing on our side of the field during the game, and he was like, "Oh man, hope he doesn't go up there and get, climb the gate to go get the ball." I mean, it was like, the double fence. So it was like higher, maybe 20 feet up in the air or something, like 15 feet, however tall. But it was just like the parent was like concerned that the kid couldn't do it. And he was probably like a 12-year-old, 11-year-old kid. I'm like, we should do that every day. Like, we couldn't,
if our parents saw on film what we did, they'd have a heart attack.
You kidding me?
We couldn't get on the court if we didn't climb that gate. We couldn't play.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just funny. I was like, I'm just happy he's going to do it. Like, that was great.
Yeah, speaking about that is now we have to deal with the no heading rule, on U13. And I just think it's like ridiculous that the kids don't learn that technique.
Very mixed feelings on that. I mean, my nephew's about 10, 11 years old. I think he'll be turning 10 this year. And I've taught him how to head properly. And I think that's the biggest thing. Every coach at table, it's teaching the proper technique.
Right.
And I think maybe I had concussions, maybe I didn't, but I'm doing okay. So, I mean, it's a very sensitive subject. I think it's just in all coaching is having the required coaching certs and teaching it the proper way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm liking it to in baseball, you're not teaching the young kid how to bunt. Or you're not teaching the kid how to rebound in basketball until they're like 13 or 14. Then the ball's coming at them too fast and they're dealing with people too big. So when you learn the technique younger, like you said, then you can better defend yourself going up. But nowadays, like you said, climbing a fence or doing something is seen as, oh, I got to keep my kids safe. We used to do that. We used to
have flag soccer.
It's
It's like flag football, like to take away the tackle. Like, you're going to have flag soccer, like no slide tackling, no tackling, no touching each other in the box. It does concern me. Make you wonder, no, you can't, no physical contact in the box or automatic PK, because sometimes, that's the problem, is you get a lot of dudes that are soft now.
Yeah,
and I was playing some pickup over the weekend. Some dude yelled at me because I got a little physical contact into the tackle. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm
playing.
Going through on the ball. So it's changed. I think that a lot of the younger generation, mindset has changed too. It's not about just going out there and just playing ball and grit.
Right. Is that only here? Did they change that rule in other countries? It's only here.
Yeah, I think so, and it's something I'd like to research on more. That you have taken something away, and I know that different, youth leagues that I've coached in, some it's like the ref can determine if it happens in a box, it's under the ref's discretion if it's a PK.
Wow, it happened to us 3 times in one game.
So here's the scenario: is like you have the kid is going up, the ball's about to hit him in the face. Okay, do I head it as a self-defense, or do I put my hands up and now I get a handball? Right. So either one, I'm going to get a PK against me. So it's like, what do I do? I'm like, dude, you just duck and get out of the way, I guess. But then you're making that kid fear the ball. Yeah,
you keep teaching him that habit. To me, that's the biggest thing, is teaching the kid the habit of not heading the ball for 6 years, and then expecting them to be able to do it
at the highest level. And he wants to go overseas and play these European teams, and suddenly I'm 15, I'm allowed to head now. Well, crap, I wasn't allowed to do this.
They should just outlaw kicking the ball off the ground.
Right.
Play role.
Why have corner kicks? Why have throw-ins? It's all aerial.
Yeah,
the game is it's an aerial game.
Well, I've joked
specifically if you're talking about American, U.S., MLS soccer, like to not teach kids how to hit the ball, like you're definitely preparing them to play somewhere else. I'm assuming because in MLS the ball is in the air a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. So and it's
you can't shoot so hard, Carlos. You shot too hard. No, it's sorry. It's like you have to shoot under 50 miles an hour. That was too hard of a shot. Doesn't count. It's like, you have to be softer with your shots.
And that was the thing. We had a kid. He made a great soccer play 3 times.
Yeah.
It would have been a goal because it was going upper 90. He just happened to be tall enough to get up there and deflect it.
Yeah.
It was
off a header, right?
Yeah, it was an intentional header, and they called PK 3 times. It was.
What about like guys like Peter Crouch? Big tall dude for Stoke. Yeah, he's made a living on being a utility man.
6'7", they just had how did they do the other day? They was down 4-0. Did they come back at all?
Nah, me and Carlos were listening to the last few minutes of that game. At least American Jeff Cameron got a little sniff in there. It's good to see an American get in there. But no, it was a funny quote I saw out of Peter Crouch. I know this is a family show, but he recently scored his 100th goal, and a reporter asked him, "What would you be if you weren't a soccer player?" His response was, "I'd be a virgin." So he's always a funny guy. So, but no, it's definitely a concern about how do you make the game safe. But it's all about coaching and education. I think that's the one thing I love about soccer is the amount of certification and licensing Carlos and I have to go through, and John have to go through to be a soccer coach in the United States. There's not many other sports in the U.S. where you constantly have to get your protocols, your tests, and your scores, and getting different licenses and moving your way up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I looked at that program, and I take a lot of pride in following those footsteps and really getting those certs, and having other coaches that have certs come in and make the program better, giving that quality to North Philadelphia. Wow. It's something that we've striven to do over the last year and a half, and just to continue to build that foundation with quality coaching, quality fields, quality equipment for kids that really don't have a lot. It's you hear all the cliche stories, but it's absolutely true with our kids. So like you said, the fact that soccer has that, I guess, ethos is why we chose to do soccer as opposed to like football and basketball.
Well, I think it's great what you guys are doing, too, because you hear in the news all the time all these different programs within the city of Philadelphia cutting this budget, and it seems to me it's always like the first thing that gets cut is athletics and arts and entertainment, and those are, to me, the last things you should cut. I work at an inner city school in Chester, and those are the things my kids look forward to is basketball practice, art, or music. So you're taking away something they can do for a living one day, and I think it's great what you guys are doing because you give them that outlet, something to go do after school.
Right, absolutely.
And then they can, be in your role one day and just coaching. You don't even got to be at the next level. Even if they got into University of Philadelphia University, I'd be happy with that. It's not even them being soccer players. It's if you inspired that kid to just go to college and live that atmosphere. Carlos and I, we have lots of fans that don't play on a team, but, they're our regulars, that they're a fan of the program. They love soccer. they're never able to play at the high level, but they're coming out and supporting us, and maybe that's why they came here, because of this program.
Absolutely.
So,
and I think just to add to that, with as far as the program, I think to me the most important thing with the program has little to do with soccer. From my perspective, it's more of what soccer allows you to experience, because as they get older, like, me and Dom's had conversations where we've discussed like how when the kids go on road trips, they're only like an hour out of the city or 45 minutes away, but to them it feels like an entirely new world.
No, it's the same thing. We took our basketball team last year to a Sixers Nets game, because one of our alumni plays for the Nets, and now, it was a big deal. Some of these kids have never left the city of Chester. And to men, you and I, it's a 10-minute drive in our car. But for them, it's they're going to an NBA game and seeing that hey, wow, this is the big lights and big show. And that's all some of these kids need to be involved in that travel. Just even that team unity. I mean, everybody at this table can remember somebody on your team when you were like 8 or 9 years old. Some goofy story happened on the road with something. And you remember the rest of your life, and you make fun of that kid, the rest of your life, or you just, you're sitting, it's old guys just trading beers and just trading them stories. So
it's camaraderie. Absolutely.
I saw something about sports. I was looking at something. It was just like, trophies get dent or dirty or break or whatever, but experiences never go away. And that's really what, like I said, with soccer, it's always been about the experience. It's always been about, I remember, because I'm just big on travel, and I'm very visual, so I remember the routes to soccer games when I was a kid. Now, you know what I mean? And I remember like seeing different things, and the little things.
Like experiencing, you're taking that in. It's the whole
every
experience.
time I played a certain team, I was like, oh, I can't wait to pass by this place, just because I was so used.
I still
to
get that as a college coach.
Yeah,
we're taking some of those trips up to North New York, man. The beautiful scenery, and especially after you win, that bus ride back after a win, that's a nice bus ride, man. You can play any type of music you want.
It's the best feeling.
So. Next segment, we're going to move over to the good old mailbag. John's got the question the fans sent in, so we have a little round table, so we'll all take a little stab at some of these questions. John?
Thanks for the segue. Mailbag at worldsportshow.com. That's the email. You guys
email
out there,
John late at night.
Thanks. See, what this guy does off the subject, he looks to stir the pot, but he doesn't have to answer it, you know what I mean?
Because the mail comes right to his phone.
I take the heat. Okay. So we got Victor from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, asking, will futsal help or hurt my outdoor soccer game?
Ooh,
good question.
Who wants to take this one?
I'll take a stab.
All right, take a stab.
I think it helps it. Now it is a transition period from outdoor to futsal, then back to outdoor. But I think if you play futsal and you really work on technique and how to maneuver the ball and handle the ball, once you get back outdoor and that transition period kind of fades away, you'll find that you have better technical ability. So,
yeah, I definitely can piggyback on that. I think it's the touch is different, so you have to adjust for the touch, but the quick decision making is really good when you get some of these games that are in a park or outdoor. You might have 11v11 on a tiny little field. You're used to that tight situation where you might have 2 touches most. Sometimes when you get on a big field, I think players start thinking too much, and they take 5. Yeah, they get too comfortable. And I think one of the worst things for players when you hear somebody yell, "You got time," and then some of that player relaxes too much. Right. I want you to relax, but always be ready to roll.
Right.
So you want to take a little bit of stab at that, Carlos?
Yeah, I mean, it could only help. I mean, that's pretty much the answer. Yeah. I mean, considering, it's a lot of technical. Basically, you can't hide in the game of futsal. So it forces you to become more technical, more comfortable on the ball. And at the same time, it also creates a situation where you have to move off the ball. Mm-hmm. Specifically, if you're really playing a game of futsal and the goalie's involved and you're using him the proper way, it creates a situation where if a team is using their goalie, you can't really attack the goalie because he can find anybody on a little futsal court with one pass. So, like the outdoor game, we'll chase the goalie down. You really can't chase the goalie down in futsal. You kind of have to stay true to your defense, because as soon as you step high, then you get beat with a little combination play. So I think it creates a situation where you have to learn how to play off the ball. You have to learn how to always be an option and build confidence and, being comfortable because you can't hide. So I think it helps. It only helps.
So it's another new to the game, soccer itself. What is your take on, Tariq, on the game of futsal so far?
I think it builds your IQ, and I think IQ is important in any sport because you got to know when to make that right decision.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important.
All right, next question, Johnny.
I was just going to chime in a little bit.
Oh, my bad.
That's
I forget
all
you're
right.
still here. I'm kidding.
Answer the question.
So I think I'm the worst at answering questions because I have my positive, but the only negative I can think of for futsal is really ball touch. It's a little bit heavier. You're not going to get that true touch as you would on an outdoor ball, but I think one is the decision making is huge. Touches on the ball is huge, and actually you can't hide. You can't find a weak spot. You have to be involved in a play. And one thing, especially coaching, I think, almost every one of us growing up in Philly played basketball growing up.
Yeah.
And you can actually, as a coach, you can identify with kids who never played before, and it basically is basketball on the court. It's round. And even watching NBA nowadays, they're referring to a lot of soccer terms. And, just recently watching the NBA All-Star game, they're all going crazy. Every player, because Ronaldinho was in the crowd, they were all geeking out over him. And I'm like, wow, I never see these players geeking out over a player before. But, yeah, they were geeking out. And
there you go.
So that's my short answer. There you go. And, yeah. And one quick shout out I had real quick. A friend coach of mine up in Massachusetts, he had a kid, one of his players, Maddie Vergara, is actually playing on the women's U18 who just traveled to England. Good results. FC Stars in Massachusetts. So, Peter, yeah, give him a little shout out. But, yeah, back to the mailbag at worldsportshow.com. We got one more. Barry from NYC. What is your favorite technical warm-up drill for your students?
For my favorite, the one that makes them sweat the most. Just kidding. I don't know if that's
caught you guys.
That's the worst.
Thank you, Victor. It's when we get little questions like this, it's you got to think back. I'm like, man, what is my favorite? I like making them run, but getting a hard warm up too. But anything with a lot of touches, usually basically one ball per player, just getting them warmed up and including stretching in. So that's what mine is for a warm up.
I think a little bit of like the monkey in the middle keep way, maybe 4 players, one in the middle. So there's a lot of quick touches and about 4, not a big circle, but maybe 3 or 4 players.
Yeah.
You guys have any other quick ones?
Yeah, there's one that we just started doing indoor futsal because the space is a little bit tighter. So it was a version of Sharks and Minnows. There's 3 defenders on the ball and 1 offensive player on the ball, and there's 1 goal. So everybody has to dribble. The defenders can only take the ball if they still have a ball at their feet.
Oh, okay.
So it makes you keep your head up, makes you
multitasking.
Right?
Dude,
so
that's great.
We did that a couple times, and I saw the difference in the game with a couple of the more creative players. They actually slowed themselves down because I think the trouble with futsal is they want to go so fast. They actually slowed themselves down to set up the move. So it's a lot of touches. It's very fast paced. They get good cardio. So I kind of like that so far. Yeah.
I know we have another segment we're going to get to, John. This is the most exciting part of the show.
Most exciting part of the show. Back by popular demand, a lot of people have been asking for it, and I'm going to play my little sounder for it real quick. Now it's time for the weekend soccer butt whoopings from around the world. So over the weekend, we had a lot of games, a lot of professional games, but we like to point out one major butt whooping in professional soccer, and we're going to refer that to Germany.
Deutschland.
Bayern Munich putting the 8th spot up.
On Hamburg?
Jeez,
8-0.
8-0. So as a professional, you guys got to get back to it. Get back to the training pitch, Hamburg. Let's go.
Now, I want to thank all of our guests, interviews we did earlier. I want to thank England's staff for helping us set up their interviews with England's Jodie Taylor and England's Rachel Daly. Everybody check out the She Believes Cup that's starting this Wednesday down at Talent Energy Stadium in Chester, Pennsylvania. I want to thank Tariq, Dominique, and Carlos for stopping in the studio tonight. Tune in every Monday night, 9 p.m. WPPM, LP Philadelphia. Got a frog in my throat.
There you go. And we're out.
Good. Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't hear anything.